Hello and many thanks for joining us on Nationwide live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ian Ray John. Welcome. Central Bank of Nigeria Monetary Policy Committee meeting at its 267th meeting resolved to hold all monetary parameters. The monetary policy rate is held at 13.5 asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points around the MPR. Liquidity ratio is 30% and cash reserve ratio at 22.5%. The committee found at the appetite for deposit banks for government securities and urged the CBN to put in place policies that will regulate access to such, as they should lend more to private sector as a key of growth.
The committee noted the developments in the monetary aggregates and enjoined the bank to initiate moves towards improving lending to the private sector and urged other intermediary institutions in the financial sector to support these initiatives by improving their credit delivery to boost output growth.
The committee also mandated the CBN to, as a matter of urgency, come up with administrative, legal and regulatory framework to mitigate non-performing loans while pushing consumer and mortgage lending. And now, looking at health, 100 million Nigerians are to be covered by the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund of the federal government. Ignatius Nkwo tells us more.
Well, the visit of the minister is in lieu of the resolution of the Senate on the 8th of May 2019. Well, they said the resolve that the health minister should come and brief the Senate, particularly on facilities, resources and infrastructures in teaching hospitals, because there was a motion that the facilities at the teaching hospitals in Nigeria are beginning to deteriorate, and senators now said it's better for them to hear directly from the minister in charge of this sector. And today, the senators, for more than 2 hours, engaged the minister, who was able to put down some of the programs that he has initiated, and then what the nation is actually going to expect from these programs and some of the challenges and solutions to some of those issues raised. Well, we have with us here Senator Foster Ogola. He's here to try to tell us what are the resolutions from the meeting with the Minister of Health. Thank you for joining us.
There was a circle that our efforts in the 2018 and 2019 budgets, whereby we raised the tempo in funding health, became a game changer. And that if we continue with that tempo, there's hope for all of us.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
All right. We also have Senator Jibrin Barau, who was also on the floor when the minister briefed.
He spoke eloquently, and the facts that he stated are very, very clear for everyone to see. It remains that the tertiary health institutions are overstretched. They are meant, the tertiary institutions, teaching hospitals, as well as health centers, and other tertiary institutions are actually meant to take cases of referral. But nowadays you find everybody, including those that have a malaria fever, those that have a headache, they go there without exhausting the facilities available at the primary health centers and the secondary health institutions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, the minister was able to explain the relationship between the primary, secondary, and tertiary health system as a pyramid, where the primary health care system, the secondary healthcare system, their functionality is very important to the performance of the tertiary healthcare system, and therefore the minister also called on state governors to partner with Federal Ministry of Health to ensure that the general health system in Nigeria is improved. Well, this is what we have for you at the moment.
And now talking education, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the Federal Colleges of Education Act. The bill was forwarded from the Senate for concurrence. It seeks to ensure that all federal colleges of education established are captured in the proposed act. Tuesday's plenary also approved the report of the Conference Committee on the bill for an act to regulate the manufacture, importation, distribution and quality control of fertilizer in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the ad hoc committee is set up to investigate alleged non-remittance of trillions of naira of stamp duties by deposit money banks into the Federation account, laid its report at plenary. Moving on, the federal government has described former President Olusegun Obasanjo's comments imputing ethno-religious motive to Boko Haram and ISWAP as deeply offensive and patently divisive, saying such indiscreet comments are far below the status of an elder statesman. In a statement, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said it was particularly tragic that a man who fought to keep Nigeria as one is also seeking to exploit the country's fault lines to divide it in the twilight of his life. He said Boko Haram and ISWAP are terrorist organizations, pure and simple, and they care little about ethnicity or religion when perpetrating their senseless killings and destruction, noting that President Buhari has put to rest the mischaracterization of Boko Haram and as an Islamic organization when he said in his inaugural speech in 2015 that Boko Haram is a mindless, godless group who are as far away from Islam as one can think of. He said Obasanjo's prescriptions for ending the Boko Haram ISWAP crisis, which includes seeking assistance outside the shores of Nigeria, are coming several years later as President Buhari has done that and more since assuming office. Hence, the phenomenal success he has recorded in tackling the terrorists. A total of 70 suspected kidnappers have been arrested by Kasana State Police Command since the inauguration of Operation Puff Ada in April this year. Abdul Malik Hassan reports that among the suspects are 4 members of a syndicate that abducted the mother-in-law of Governor Bello Masari.
Recovered from the criminals are over 1,800 arms and ammunition, as well as other exhibits. Kasana State Commissioner of Police Sanusi Buba says the breakthrough by the command within the last few days are in line with the objectives and core mandate of Operation Pufada as conceived by the Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu Abubakar, aimed at bringing to an end the menace of cattle rustling, armed robbery, kidnapping and banditry in Kasana State.
These massive achievements are indicative of successes recorded in ongoing onslaught against banditry and other heinous crimes in the state. I also wish to warn all persons within the communities aiding the bandits, either by way of information or provision of logistics, like fuel and food items, to desist from such unwholesome practice or be prepared to face the dire consequences.
He appeals to the general public to support and partner with the Nigerian police force by providing credible information that will lead to the arrest of suspected persons and groups who have connections with perpetrators of heinous crimes. Among the suspects paraded was the mastermind and gang members that kidnapped mother-in-law of Kasana State Governor Aminu Bello Masari and who was released after the payment of 30 million naira ransom. In Kasana, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
And away from crime, additional 4 High Court judges have joined the Ondo State Judiciary to hasten quick and fair justice dispensation. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who presided over the ceremony, urged the new judges to allow professional ethics govern their acts and utterances. Doris Olumoko brings us details.
The 4 new judges in the Ondo State Judiciary are Justice Ademola Enikwome, Justice Olajide Abe, Justice Bamidele Olupiton and Justice Tope Oladipe. Governor Akeredolu charged them to ensure that litigants leave courtroom believing that they have been judged right, as expectations are high due to the sensitive nature of their new assignments.
We will fail as politicians. We can fail as lawyers. We can even fail as senior lawyers. But we cannot afford to fail as judicial officers. You cannot. The responsibility on you is greater.
We pledge to abide with our oath of office, reiterating here in our firm resolution to dispense justice to all manner of men without fear or favor.
The 4 newly appointed judges rose through the ranks to attain their new positions in the Ondo State Judiciary. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
And now moving to Edo State, the Edo State Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs have passed a vote of confidence on Governor Godwin Obaseki. The ruling and opposition parties for adhering to the advice of traditional rulers on a peaceful conduct of the general election. This was at a meeting presided over by its chairman, the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewai II. Ogochukwuka Ona reports.
The council commended the police and other law enforcement agencies for their various roles in maintaining law and order before, during and after the elections, while congratulating President Muhammadu Buhari on his victory at the polls. They prayed that God and the ancestors grant him the wisdom to pilot the affairs of the country.
The most peaceful so far. It's the first time that those states has witnessed such a peaceful, non-violent, violent-free election, no bloodshed and all that.
The chairman of the council, Oba Ewai II, Oba of Benin, also said he would, on behalf of the council, meet with the governor on the need to provide the police with marine surveillance of the creeks to curb activities of kidnappers. Present at the meeting was the State Commissioner of Police, Dan Malan Mohammed, who had, in the instance of the governor, briefed council on the security situation in the state. In Benin, Ogochukwuka Ona, NTA News.
And reports just reaching us says after honoring the invitation of King Salman of Saudi Arabia and completing Umrah, otherwise called the Lesser Hajj, President Muhammadu Buhari has left Saudi Arabia on his way back to Abuja. The president was seen off at the King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, by top Saudi Arabian officials some moments ago. President Buhari is expected in Abuja late evening with his entourage, which includes the wife of the president, Hajia Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. You're still watching Nationwide on NTA. Time now to join Datu in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Datu.
Hello, Yeri, and welcome to Lagos. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Sumbo Onesiri, in the 2019 general elections of the Lagos Central Senatorial election, is asking the tribunal to declare him winner of the February 23rd election. Vera Chumba was at the tribunal's hearing in Lagos.
Sumbo Onitiri, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, is challenging the election of Senator Oluremi Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress in the 23rd February election on the ground that the election was marred by irregularities, intimidation of voters by security agents, and other malpractices. He is also challenging the decision of INEC to declare Oluremi Tinubu winner of the election. The petitioner also alleged that the election was invalidated by corruption and non-compliance with the Electoral Act of 2010. The prosecution witness and PDP agent Bola Oke, who supervised the 87 polling units, told the tribunal that he manned the polling units through communication and also went round all the units. He said the respondents doled out money openly to party agents while the security agents watched. Mr. Oke also admitted that his statement on oath was written by his lawyer on his behalf, while he only signed. Another witness, Joseph, an IT consultant and a supervising agent of the petitioner, told the tribunal that there was no election in Airways Ward polling unit because there was sporadic shooting with only one unarmed policeman. Under cross-examination, he admitted that he did not lodge complaints to INEC because thugs took over the place. He further said he stood by his statement on oath that there was no result of the election in the area. However, when INEC counsel Jonathan Abo tendered the INEC election result sheets with signature of one Karim Sahid, a PDP agent with emphasis on Awe's House 10, which he claimed he supervised, he said he could not ascertain the authenticity of the result. Further hearing continues in Lagos. Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
Many Lagosians were already in the usual early morning traffic on their way to work when the heavens opened and the rain poured on Monday. The consequence was long hours in traffic, flash flood and damage to personal effects and public utilities. Jennifer Igwe reports that normalcy has, however, returned in most parts of the state on Tuesday.
The weather in Lagos on Tuesday, although not as hot and dry as the mega city has been for months now, is a contrast to Monday, when heavy rain that lasted about an hour left most parts of the state flooded.
Yesterday's experience was very bad. It's very uncomfortable because the traffic was seriously bad. Compared to what we expected today, fine. There are still traffic, but it's not as bad as that of yesterday.
The road was free this morning. You can see the hold up that we can see from this place is just from the traffic lights down to Falomo, and not too terrible. It's moving fine and going well.
Trees and electricity poles that were forced down by the pressure of the heavy wind that accompanied the downpour have been cleared by officials of the state government. Residents, however, say more needs to be done to ensure safety during the rainy season.
To actually curb traffic in Lagos, apparently, is probably to increase the roads or get drainage systems so that when there's flood, it doesn't affect the masses, apparently. So I feel that's what the government should work on.
We are actually going to the rainy season proper, so we expect more government assistance in doing what is needful to at least to clear the drainage and to make everywhere the traffic in Lagos is killing. Let it be free for us.
The Lagos state government has issued a statement assuring Lagosians that necessary measures have been put in place to address likely challenges that could arise from more intense rainfalls in the state. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has stressed the need for effective tactical operational planning and competence to enhance skills towards tackling security challenges facing the country. Lane Lineke reports that this was in a message at the workshop for commanding officers aimed at sharpening officers' combat readiness.
The Nigerian Army over the years has recorded successes in the fight against insurgency and other operations in the 6 geopolitical zones, and as such, they need to consolidate on the gains made so far. This workshop is therefore to enhance the capacity of the Nigerian Army. Chief of Army Staff, who was represented, charged commanding officers to take advantage of the workshop to boost their operational and administrative competencies towards effectively tackling the dynamic situations and challenges which the country is bedeviled with.
The successes recorded so far in all our operations and exercises are not without the support of other security agencies, which are highly commendable.
The General Officer commanding 81 Division, Major General Sani Yusuf, explained that the training is focusing on key operational planning.
It is expected that a series of lectures and discussions throughout this workshop will broaden your horizon, particularly those of you involved in internal security operations.
The theme, Enhanced Leadership, Prerequisite for the Nigerian Army Transformation to Meet Contemporary Challenges, drew participants from the 6 divisions of the Nigerian Army in the southern part of the country. A similar training will also take place for Army divisions in the northern parts of the country. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. More reports after this commercial break. Stay with us.
Good to have you back. Nigeria has taken huge strides in terms of business in the country, recording massive success in the ease of starting and doing business. Experts in Good Morning Nigeria say reducing the time for business registration as well as introducing an online platform to pay duties has helped in moving the process up in rankings. Abdulkareem Mohammed Zurmi reports that the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, was also on the program to give insight on what Nigerians should expect during the presidential inauguration on May 29th.
The minister, while giving a rundown of the activities lined up, says the inauguration reflects Nigeria's journey to democratic rule since 1999.
This country has potentials, and my advice to all is that there is no country that would not experience the kind of challenges we're experiencing. But we are very fortunate to have a president who understands this country better than most people think he does.
He assured Nigerians of adequate security during the inauguration.
I think this same question was asked yesterday when I was having a press conference, and my answer was that this is not probably the right forum to let you know which measures have been taken. But just to reassure you that obviously there's no cause for alarm. Security authorities are on top of the matter.
Also, economic experts who featured on the program applauded government's economic policies which propelled Nigeria's upward movement 24 places in the ease of doing business rankings.
Collateral Registry, Act, has done a lot in improving access to credit. There's also the issue of access to electricity. Interesting, if you look at that report, the 2019 report, okay, it says we moved up in about 5 areas. There are 10 indicators moved up in 5. And out of that 5, we moved up 10 places, which is the highest in with respect to paying taxes.
Small businesses are major benefactors of the Ease of Doing Business initiative.
I can attest to the fact that there's been a lot of intervention in terms of road network construction and improvements. The rails are also being upgraded and implemented. Electricity is a major, power is a major area of focus. The professor mentioned the issue of connection and all that. So we've done a lot of work with NEC and the distribution companies to make sure that the connection process is seamless and faster.
It was agreed that the fight against corruption and increased provision of infrastructure will pave way for economic growth. In Abuja, Abdulkareem Mohammed Zurmi, NTA News.
Moving on, the federal government says it will continue to ensure human capital development and rapid industrialization through the promotion and creation of an enabling environment for small and medium enterprises. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said this at the 2019 National Youth Entrepreneurship Empowerment Summit in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports that the summit is part of activities lined up ahead of the presidential inauguration.
It is said that any nation that ignores its youthful population does so at a risk, as it is the fastest way of eroding the future generation. This is why the Buhari administration in its first term paid attention to this noble cause by putting in place several initiatives and interventions for the youth skills acquisition for improvements in livelihood. The National Youth Entrepreneurship Empowerment Summit is crafted not only to encourage entrepreneurship and rebirthing of new businesses, but to create enabling environments where budding entrepreneurs and startups can showcase innovative and viable products and services.
The more productive the citizens of a nation are, the better the economy will be. I believe that the average Nigerian is willing to put in their base to be productive and to be innovative.
The challenge most people face, however, is that they lack sufficient knowledge and skills to drive successful businesses.
Your failure is just as important as your success. But if you're given the skills, the training, the mentoring, the right network, you will stand up again.
At the end of the summit, 10 amongst participants with outstanding business proposals will go home with 1 million naira each, courtesy of the federal government, and 12 months personal mentorship program, courtesy of the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Union of Contributory Pensioners is urging the federal government to solve the ambiguity surrounding the template for the payment of pensioners under the contributory pension scheme. The union is worried that the principles of the 2004 Pension Act has not been applied to the contributory pensioners.
The pension violated the act by telling and paying people in the way they want to pay. Some 35%, some 20%, some 60%. We contributed, we are paid less. 2, the pension have nothing to do with us, the pension commission. They treated us as miserable retired peasants and plebeians.
They came up with a template that even discriminates against women. Women will earn less than men as bulk sum because they say women will live longer. Who is God among us who can predict when somebody will die and when somebody will not die? So, we have all these anomalies and all these ambiguities, and we have been fighting this since I retired in 2012.
Members of the union also expressed concerns over what they called undue delay in the implementation of the reviewed Pension Act of 2014. And now, to drive home their demands, staff of the National Lottery Commission has embarked on an indefinite strike. Doing Nigeria reports that part of their demand is the improvement of the working conditions.
Working day of the week, Mondays are often full of business and economic activities, but it was different with the staff of the National Lottery Commission, which turned out as early as 7 a.m. in the morning with placards having various inscriptions.
We have tried so many times to see that these problems are resolved without it getting to this extent. But unfortunately, we are here this morning and we would continue. We're Category A Commission and we've been generating revenue, but it has not translated into the welfare of any staff.
As some other individuals too that came for promotion examination earlier on, around 2017, their DTA has not been paid, and nothing happened. 7 days was issued, yet nothing happened, and the workers have reached out to management to see how they can meet amicably, to no avail. So until the management turn a new leaf, I doubt if the workers will agree to come back from their strike action. Thanks.
We made concerted effort to get reactions from the authorities concerned, but such attempt was unsuccessful as none of the management staff was available. In Abuja, Tui, Dia, NT News.
And now looking at agriculture. Agriculture remains one viable option for an average civil servant to embrace for an alternative income even ahead of retirement. Experts in agriculture who are encouraging civil servants in this regard are drawing attention to beekeeping as a low-hanging fruit, as the industry in Nigeria today is becoming important in various sectors of the economy, including food and beverage, pharmaceutical, cosmetic and textile sectors. Justin Bem Onye reports that this was at the in-house capacity building on beekeeping for beginners, organized for Raw Materials Research and Development Council.
Beekeeping, despite its goldmine attribute, remains a sector with a huge untapped potential in Nigeria. Professionals point out that in some developing climes, beekeeping has created jobs for men, women, and youths along the entire value chain from production, processing, packaging, and marketing. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark World Bee Day 2019 with the theme Save the Bees, the Raw Materials Research and Development Council is championing the initiative of training civil servants to explore the inherent potential therein regarding beekeeping for economic benefits. And this came with a strategic committee on beekeeping development.
The committee placed its priority areas along the beekeeping value chain, which includes research and innovation stroke application, primary production, traditional and modern beekeeping practices for provision of raw materials to industries.
You have the royal jelly, you have the beeswax, you have propolis, you have the venom itself, and as well as the honey that is common. So the civil servants can make this as an alternative source of income if you invest or you get into having beekeeping.
That when they leave service, they will have something that will require less skills and require less income or financial implication to start off. Beekeeping is one of such projects that do not require so much of capital before they can get started up.
Civil servants are urged to use the privilege to establish beekeeping cooperatives to enjoy coordination that will be beneficial to them. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
And now continues our next port of call on Nationwide, and Suleiman is standing by for more reports. Hello, Suleiman.
A warm welcome to Kaduna. Farmers in Jigawa State are optimistic of a bumper harvest this farming season due to numerous initiatives and support the agricultural sector is witnessing under the present administration. This came to the fore during an assessment tour to Fadama 3 projects in the state by officials of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. Awal Muhammad Kazauri has the details.
Being an agrarian state, people of Jigawa depend largely on agriculture as their source of livelihood. The introduction of various agricultural policies of Fadama 3, IFAD, and Agricultural Transformation Agenda Support Program are currently yielding good results. Leading a team of officials on assessment tour on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, Director of Projects Coordinating Unit, Mr. Anthony Amu, expressed satisfaction with the development recorded in farming in Jigawa State. This he attributed to collaboration between federal and state government in supporting the farmers.
Places where we go like the cripples, which Fadama has empowered, it's quite interesting that they are now on their own. Most of them have gone back to schools. They are no longer liability to the states. So we are happy about that.
To the beneficiaries of farming initiatives, brighter future awaits agriculture with the policies and support they are receiving under Buhari administration. The tour took the team to 3 local government areas. From Duse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned 5 persons before a high court in Kano for alleged conspiracy and forgery. Sani Basir reports that 4 of the suspects are staff of the Kano Road and Traffic Agency.
The suspects include Abjalal Salisu, Nazifi Ali Chigari, Abbas Tijani, and Muhammad Imam, all staff of the Kano Roads and Traffic Agency Karota, while Adamu Aminu specializes in producing fake documents. They are being charged for alleged provision of forged appointment letters and certificates to Anas Ahmad, Sabitu Adamu, and Umar Habibu. This, the prosecuting counsel, Michael Ojo, said it is contrary to Section 97, subsection 6, and sections 363 to 364 of the Penal Code. All the suspects pleaded not guilty. The defense counsel, Rabiu Shuaib, filed bail application before the presiding judge, which the prosecuting counsel did not object to the application.
They were granted bail.
On what condition?
On the conditions of they will produce 2 reliable sureties.
We applied that the matter be set down for trial, in which they should be remanded in prison custody.
The presiding judge, Justice Farooq Lawang Adamu, ordered the suspects to be remanded in prison custody and adjourned the sitting to 27th June 2019 for the commencement of trial. In Kano, Sani Basiru, NTA News.
And that is the size of our contribution from Kaduna. Is back to you for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Suleiman. And now heading to Benue now, the Benue State government is to continue to partner the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in catering for Cameroon refugees in Benue State. Governor Autumn Samuel said this when the country representative of UNHCR to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Antonio Jose Candola, visited him at the government house in Markadi. Ben Haya reports.
Since 2018, Benue State and other parts of Nigeria have witnessed an influx of Cameroonian refugees resulting from internal crisis in their country. The Benue State government has collaborated with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, and other humanitarian agencies to cater for the refugees. It is against this backdrop that the country representative of the UNHCR visited Governor Samuel Otom to seek more ways of collaboration in taking care of the refugees. Governor Otom directed the ministries of Education, Health, as well as that of Women Affairs to give support to the UNHCR in alleviating the challenges confronting the refugees. The governor also directed the Ministry of Lands, Survey and Solid Minerals to review downwards the estimated amount for compensation for 59 hectares of land allocated for the resettlement of the refugees at Kyogen Cattle Ranch. While congratulating Governor Samuel Otom on his re-election, Mr. Khan Hadula noted his support in the provision of relief materials and temporary shelters. The country representative solicited the support of government towards resolving identification of the refugees to ease their work. Despite the efforts being made to give the refugees a good lease of life, what all the stakeholders desire is a resolution of the conflict in Cameroon to enable the refugees go home. In Makudi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
Participants at the just-concluded Nigeria-British Council MOU for the training of cultural and festival managers have been enjoined to ensure that they impart the skills acquired during the period after training is passed on to others who couldn't make it for the training as a deliberate way of transferring knowledge learned to more people for the growth of the sector. Anthony Forson reports.
The participants, drawn from Nigeria and other African countries, is part of the MOU between Nigeria and the British Council to train festival managers. The participants, after their training, entertained guests who came to be part of the closing ceremony. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Deaconess Grace Isugekwe, who stood in for the Minister, Lai Mohammed, emphasized the need for the training to be put into practice.
The training you have had here is not for you to just go and sleep and let that knowledge you've acquired just die. You must put it into action right now and try to involve others that you think you can train, so that they will be part of your festival. Because you cannot package a festival alone. You must have a team to run with your festival.
I hope that we've created an atmosphere of collaboration, of confidence, and an ambition to do things brilliantly.
Highlight of the event was the presentation of certificates to the participants. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In other news, Nigeria is working towards sustainable peace to facilitate growth and national development through the promotion of culture as part of the economic diversification policy of the federal government. This was reiterated at the 2019 World Culture Day organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, in Abuja. Glory Ekanem reports.
This is another gathering aimed at putting culture in the forefront. This meeting underscores the unique strength of Nigeria as a nation with diverse, rich cultural heritage, which can be harnessed in transforming the minds, behavior and attitudes of its citizenry for national development.
The World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development is a memory day for the celebration of the human race to promote our diverse culture, cultural diplomacy, peaceful coexistence, growth, prosperity and sustainable development. The 2019 edition of this event is another opportunity for us as a people and as a country to come together, to come to the terms and agree with the fact that culture fosters global peace and sustainable development.
The reason why there's crisis in Africa is because we don't respect each other's culture. If we respect each other's culture, there will be peace. And I'd like to call at this occasion that our traditional rulers have a very important role to play in making sure that there is peace, and with culture, everything will go well.
For 15-year-old Matthew George, one of the ways to promote and imbibe Nigeria's cultural heritage, irrespective of religious and ethnic leanings, is for parents and teachers to educate the younger generation on the history and traditions of Nigeria and Nigerians.
Culture is who we are and what shapes our identities. So if we want to promote our culture, we have to start from ourselves. Within us. You cannot say you want to do something without you having the interest of it.
The dances, debates, and fashion parade by these children strengthens Matthew's belief that the theme for the 2019 World Cultural Day, which is Culture for Sustainable Peace and Development, is achievable. World Cultural Day is marked 21st May of every year. In Abuja, Glory Ekanem, NTA News.
Moving on, 250 indigents of River State who were trained in various trades by the National Industrial Skills Development Program have graduated in Port Harcourt. The report.
Basically designed to equip youths between the ages of 18 to 35 years with the requisite skills, knowledge, and attitude needed to create wealth for themselves and the nation at large.
ITF have designed a number of programs, intervention programs in skills development to be able to empower our youths.
So the import today is to recognize the youths that you were trained and to also empower them with startup packs to enable them start up their own businesses.
250 youths in River State who were trained in selected trade like catering and event management, aluminium fabrication and installation, photography, graduated for the 2018 batch.
We discovered that at every level there's something someone needs to know to better what he has known before.
Within the last 2 years, the ITF, through the National Industrial Skills Development Program and other skills acquisition programs, has equipped over 450 Nigerian youths nationwide, while over 10,000 youths from River State have benefited with skills for employability and entrepreneurship.
I want to say a very big thank you to the federal government who made this program a success.
I benefit in skill and knowledge. Today I can boast that I had a skill.
National Industrial Skills Development Program and its partner inspected different products displayed by the graduates in Port Harcourt. Danukume Ulolo, NTA News.
And if you just joined us, you're watching Nationwide live on Africa's largest television network. Another break beckons on Nationwide at this point. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Now time to take a peep at developments in other parts of the world. And Ado Adamu also would feed us. Let's now talk sports. Nigeria's volleyball team shines at it. And that's it on Nationwide today. Many thanks for investing your time with us.